here's the cool thing about responsibility. There's a sense that if we are responsible, then we need to know the answers. And the really cool thing about responsibility is we don't. We just don't have to know the answers. It's not actually a prerequisite for being responsible. Which, it's paradoxical to the mind. In fact, not knowing is a prerequisite for knowing. If we knew, we would know. we would know that thing that seems problematic in our lives wouldn't be very problematic if we actually knew, would it? And so really it's an invitation into unknowing. Oh, sure, we might think we know why things are the way they are. We might think we know why, we can't sleep. We might think we know why we feel anxious. We might think we know what the reason for, not going to the gym, not going to take a run. We might think we know why it is that we're not taking care of ourselves the way we could be. But don't you think if we really, really knew, then we wouldn't have that issue, would we? And so often the things we think we know about the why of something, aren't they just out of our reach, The why is, well, I just don't like my job and I need a different job. Haven't found it yet. May or may not be putting that much energy into it. But if we step back, pause, and just for a moment, embrace not knowing the answer, the why. I just don't know why I keep doing that thing, why it doesn't work for me. I don't know why I'm not sleeping. I don't know why I'm not exercising. See if you can feel in your body what it feels like to try on not knowing. Without needing to know for just a moment. What happens in our system when we allow ourselves to not know? And don't make not knowing a problem. The answer, the real answer, is always different than the imagined answer. And if you're sensitive, you can feel the difference in your body when you really allow yourself to not know. And not knowing is okay. I used to, my day job is a contractor, right? I build stuff. And for many, many years, I was a homeowner. And I had a long, long list of things I wanted to do on my house. It was my equivalent of a honey-do list, except it was just for myself, right? And occasionally, almost inevitably, every year there would be often a slow period where I didn't have a lot of new work coming in. It was usually right after the holiday season, and everybody was recuperating. And I just didn't have a lot of work. And I would find myself every year in that time period in great, great resistance, because I had a list of things to do on my own house as long as my arm. just did not have the energy for any of it. Just one thing after another would seem to come up and get in the way of me actually taking care of the things on my list. Instead of devoting 8, 10, 12 hours to those projects, I might push the ball forward just the tiniest bit, maybe get 2 hours of work done that day, and everything would go out the window. My sleep would get weird. My ability to focus on those projects for myself, which I really wanted to do, would all just kind of stop. I wouldn't be able to do what I wanted to do for myself. And I struggled with this for years. It was infuriating. And I started to make up beliefs about it, like, I can work for other people, but I can't work for myself, and on and on. I started to think there was something wrong with me. Eventually, started to see that I had a block here. There was just something blocking me from doing these things for myself that I could do with ease for someone else. So after a couple of years of this, I knew the pattern. And the solution started to come. And the solution was to stop. Really fully allow myself to stop. To not do anything. No longer believe the idea that I was going to get something done by just brute forcing using my willpower, whatever it was. I just allowed myself to come to a complete stop. And that required acceptance. Maybe nothing will get done. Maybe less than the tiny bit of progress I could make through willpower. Maybe less than that will get done. And the more I allowed myself to rest and to let go of that idea of just like, now it's my time. I gotta take care of this. I gotta chip away at this list of things. And to let go of that idea. And I would just allow myself to come to a stop. The first couple days of not being busy, not working, would just be stopping, resting. Maybe I just read a book. Maybe I just sit in meditation. And slowly, something started to move through me. I'd feel that agitation of like, oh, what am I doing? I'm not being productive. I'm not getting anything done. And I would just go sit and come to a complete stop. Maybe some work would arise. Maybe not. Maybe I just sat there for 15, 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden I'd find myself in motion. What's happening now? Where am I going? I'd be walking somewhere in my house without knowing exactly where I was going. And oftentimes I would just end up at the kitchen sink. Oh yeah, these dishes need to get done. And all of a sudden I'm washing dishes. Usually something really, really simple and mundane like that. That laundry I left in there. And eventually, as I practiced stopping, more and more energy started flowing. And it started to take in I started to accomplish, things that were on that list of things I really wanted to do. And usually it was after I'd sort of taken care of the basics. I'm going to go for a run. And isn't it strange that after a run, I have more energy than I started out with? And I sleep better, and I have more energy. And I sleep so much better that I need less sleep. Are we willing to abandon ourselves to life, to self, to silence in this way? Let it be what moves us. Rather than what we think we need, what we think we want. Make no mistake, it was a risk. The risk was I wouldn't get anything done. If silence just wanted to sit there for 2 or 3 weeks, oh well. But more than that, I came to find that there was a more natural way that life wanted me to be moving. and what that meant was movement needed to include stopping, stillness, silence, no distractions. And the two started to integrate where I might work for 3, 4, 1, 2 hours on a project. And then it would be very clear it was time to stop again. And if I didn't stop, it would get more clear that I wasn't going to be able to keep moving forward without stopping. So I would stop, I would sit. "5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. Something old needed to come up, surface, be seen, be expressed. felt through. And then all of a sudden motion, energy would return for the other activity. I go back to work. I work another 3-4 hours happily, productively, in flow. And then it's time to stop again. And what are we really doing? When we're living in this way, when we're allowing ourselves to stop in this way, we're giving ourself attention. We're giving ourselves our time. Our love. Our devotion. Did you think that you were not that important? Did you think that you get to realize yourself without giving yourself everything that you want, everything that you need? And we're not talking about objects outside of ourselves right now. Clearly, right? It's not about that thing that you want, that thing that I think I need. Our time, our attention, these are the most precious things in the world. Finite resources. Are we giving ourselves to ourselves? Are we paying attention? Can we stop whatever it is we're doing long enough to pay attention? Can we put down the idea that there's something outside of us that's more important than we are? We all have responsibilities to others. Can we make ourselves a priority? My sense is we all can. We can all take as many moments as we need to. Our lives are set up for this. Our lives are structured in such a way that we can give ourselves time, attention, and if things aren't flowing, if you don't feel yourself in the flow of existence, in the flow of life, it might be a good time to consider stopping. Seeing what self wants to do. Maybe it's the dishes. Maybe it's just sitting there. Maybe it's going for a walk. Maybe it's both and jumping jacks and yelling at the top of your lungs. None of us know what it is we're going to meet within us when we come to a stop. Maybe it's that anger that's been festering, bubbling in the background. Maybe it's that sadness. That we were hoping would just go away. Maybe it's that fear that's always been with us. Maybe it's that shame. that we haven't really given ourselves time, space, energy, that we haven't followed through on our dreams. And maybe it's just a much simpler, more dumb shame. I usually feel ashamed for really simple, dumb things. Oh, what would that person think about me? Oh, man. Oh, geez, I really made a fool of myself there. Yeah. Blessings on your stopping.